We here at the Buckhorn Podcast would like to honor the family members of those that were lost by continuing on in our day-to-day life. While we remember what happened on 9/11/2001, we will not let it hinder us from progressing forward. We hope this episode makes you laugh and brings a little joy to your day.
We would like to take a moment of silence before the show begins.
Whatever.
That was a dinosaur fart. Welcome to the Buckhorn Podcast. I am Martelle, and with me always is Randy. What up, Randy?
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah?
This is my kind of weather.
Rainy?
Rainy and cold.
Dude, it has rained straight here for almost 36 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
They were calling for like 6 inches of rain in like 48-hour period, but I'm almost certain we've gotten a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're calling for. It's a sign that fall is coming, and for fat people everywhere, that means you can actually walk outside and be able to breathe.
Boo.
Yeah, I know you like it all hot and humid and nasty and sticky, but
I don't even need it hot, humid, nasty, and sticky. I don't need seasons.
I do. I need fall, man. I love fall football.
You can have football.
You got the pumpkin show that I hate. You got pumpkin spice lattes.
That doesn't come with seasons. That just comes with months in the year.
Yeah,
October.
But it's not the same. Like if fall didn't happen, it's like living in a tropical climate for Christmas. Like I don't want that. No, I don't want that.
It's awesome.
I don't want Christmas in Hawaii.
You can hang.
Did you say you can hang the tree?
You can hang the tree if you want.
In tropical climates, they hang their Christmas trees upside down from the ceiling.
Some people do that, actually.
That's dumb.
They have upside down Christmas trees.
I've seen that, but they don't hang them. They just sit upside down.
No, they hang them from ceilings.
Oh, that's stupid.
Google that.
That's too much effort. It's worth a Google.
It's a thing.
No, man, this weekend's going great for me. Last weekend ended up awful. So we recorded Saturday instead of our normal Sunday last week. Buckeyes won. I was I know you care a lot. I was pretty close to the score, I think, the prediction. And then
you had it like 1,000,000-0.
No, I think I said like 60-something to 3 or 56-3. And they ended up winning like 1,000,000-0. So I was close. But
see,
anyway.
1,000,000. I'm right there.
No, I went up to my buddies. We were going to relower my truck like you've been wanting me to do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, how long does it take? I said, well, Dad and I, lifted it back up to stock in like a couple hours, because you literally just take 3 bolts out of the shackle on the front of the leaf spring pack in the rear and flip it.
Yeah.
And so I went up there to his place in Marysville, hour away from me.
Good Lord.
And a couple other buddies drove out. We all get to work, pull the bolts out of one side, pull the bolts out of the other, and all hell broke loose. Long story short, we were supposed to do one at a time, one side at a time. So What happened was the whole rear end slid backwards. Drive shaft fell out of the transmission. We were there until 8:30 that night. I called it, drove his BMW home, got up real early the next morning, drove all the way back up there, and we essentially had to rebuild we had to take the leaf packs off. We took everything apart. The rear axle was totally dropped, had to do a new U-joint, everything. So it was, I'm still paying for. I owe my buddies, we call him BZ, his name's Brian, BZ, Mitch, Steve, Buck's friend Hoblick. Some of these names you probably recognize.
Yeah.
And my buddy Derek, I owe all of them
habaneros
and probably some back-breaking labor when I'm able to do it again, because I am not able to do any of it. So they were all working on my truck when crap hit the fan.
So why didn't you just do one side at a time instead of trying to?
Well, it was just kind of we had 4 guys there, and I was kind of supervising. The bolts came out on one side. I'm looking. Next thing I know, bolts are out the other. None of these, the guys don't work on 1982 pickup trucks all the time. I was like, yeah, pull the bolts out of this side, we'll flip them, whatever. So somebody started the other side to try and get a jump on things.
Gotcha.
And it was my fault for not really being the chief and saying, okay, here's what we have to do. And honestly, by the time everything got going, it went so fast, I kind of lost track of what we were doing and forgot how Dad and I did it. So it was on me. I took full blame. But yeah, that was so the Labor Day weekend, that was nice and hot. We spent, instead of 2 hours out in the garage, we spent about 8.5 on Sunday. And then I think it was about 6 more on Monday.
Nice.
So, and of course, everything was rusted. The good news is, if I want to totally rebuild the back end of my truck, everything's been broken loose now.
It's all clean and ready to go.
But this weekend has been much better. Got to hang out with some friends yesterday.
Good.
Play my bass, make some money.
Good.
That's always good, getting paid to do something you like doing. So,
yeah.
What about you, man? What's been going on?
Well, like you, I worked on some vehicles. Did some oil changes last week. That took a lot longer than it should have. So I do not climb under.
Did you drop the rear end?
No. I do not climb under vehicles to change oil anymore. I have a system that sucks the oil out of the dipstick hole.
Right.
So, but that's a hand pump system. I am buying a pneumatic system going forward.
So you don't have to go out there and stroke this.
So I'm not hand pumping this thing
to extract
and it only holds,
the oil.
Yeah, and it only holds about 5 quarts of oil. So every 5 quarts
you extract it from the dipstick tube, right?
Yep.
And then you have to get under to change the filter.
Nope. Because all the filters are basically on top of the motor, which is nice, except for the Pathfinder. That stupid Japanese vehicle. So the Audi's on top. It's on the top backside of the motor.
Okay.
Easy to get to. You just get a 36 millimeter socket or a crescent wrench, whatever. Take off the filter. Boom. Pull it off. Wipe it down. Swap out the filter. You're done. The FJ, it's right in the front. Unscrew it. Pop it off. Wipe it down. Reseal. Boom. You're done. Looking around, I've never changed the oil on the Nissan. It was under warranty. We always send it down to the dealership. This is the first time. I'm like, where the hell is the dipstick on this thing? Start looking around. It's buried under the front of the motor.
The dipstick is?
The dipstick is. So you have to look down under the engine cover and then almost under where what I thought was the intake manifold. Nope, it's not the intake manifold. I don't know what the hell it is. So it's down under this. And it's not an exhaust manifold because the exhaust manifold's on the underside of just above the block. Okay. On the front side of the motor. Why the exhaust manifold is on the front side of the motor and then runs under the
that's got one of, so it's
it don't think about it too hard because it'll blow your mind.
Is a V6?
It's a V6.
And it's on the front.
Yeah.
So does it sit sideways like the old 4-cylinders and the like Accords, like the old Hondas did?
It has to. Hondas, I don't know. Because my old 4-cylinder sat with the exhaust manifold on the back side of the motor, and then on the Volkswagen, then the intake was on the front side.
Right.
But the exhaust is on the front side of this. The exhaust manifold's on the front side of this motor.
Okay.
And I'll get to that in a minute. So I find the dipstick. Well, then I'm looking around for this oil filter. Can't find the oil filter anywhere. Hop on my phone. All right, where's the oil filter? It's on the passenger side, bottom side of the block. Behind the passenger side wheel. So, yes, I have to jack the car up. I have to turn the wheel or take it off.
Remove the wheel. Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Not removing the wheel. We're not getting into that. I can wedge my fat body in there. Take off the one bolt. It says remove the splash shield. No, remove one bolt, rotate it out of the way. But the cross member for the frame is in the way. So it's just going to make a mess when you undo this damn thing anyway, because you can't get anything in there.
Right.
To not get, so plastic bag on the ground, bunch of paper towels, unscrew it, let it drop, brake cleaner, clean it up, seal it, done, put it back together. In the meantime, when you're pulling out the dipstick, you have to be extremely careful because oil drips on to the exhaust manifold.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, but when you're taking the tube out for the system that I use, it drips down on the exhaust manifold as well.
It'll burn off.
Right, or catch fire.
Potato schmamato, man. It's just a risky take.
Horrible design, Nissan. Get your shit together. The car smoked for an hour and a half. I sat outside with the car running it up and down the street, just letting it sit out in the driveway. continued to smoke for an hour and a half. Liz is like, is this going to be okay? I'm like, oh, one of two things are going to happen. It's either just going to burn off,
or you get a new vehicle.
Or you get a new vehicle. She's like, well, what's that mean? I'm like, it means it's going to catch fire and you get a new vehicle.
That's why we parked it out in the field.
I said, that's why it's
in neutral right by the pond.
I'm like, that's why it's further away from the house, just in case. She's like, oh, great. She goes, so now I might be vehicleless. I'm like, fingers crossed.
No.
She goes, oh, you're an asshole.
No, she gets the S5.
For a short period of time until she gets another.
You see her out there with a lighter, like on the seat, like
until the.
What are you doing? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Until the insurance check comes in for
and she can get a new Nissan.
Screwed up. It's such poor design. Why would you ever put the exhaust manifold?
I've never worked on a Nissan with a V6. My brother's got a Titan.
I don't understand why you would put the dipstick right, like anywhere near where the oil would be.
Right.
Like the exhaust manifold, the oil, that just sounds like
well,
bad planning.
Mine's got the 300 in it, the inline 6, and the dipstick, if you're looking into the engine bay, it's on the right side, so the driver's side, and the exhaust is on the passenger side, so no issues there.
So, I don't know. Either way, but that took, for whatever reason, that took like 3.5 hours to do 3 cars.
Oh, you should have had us do it, me and my buddies. We would have made it about a 12-hour job.
Well, and I probably wouldn't have any wheels left on the car, and an all-wheel drive car would probably end up having a one-wheel wonder when it was all said and done.
That's all right. Still works. It's fine.
But yeah, other than that, then we hit up the we had a football game to go to on Sunday, and
fun.
Yeah. For Pee Wee football. And
so what are we talking about today then?
So today, something came across my timeline on Facebook that kind of piqued my interest, and it was around parenting.
Okay.
It's lawnmower parenting. So we've all heard.
You told me this term, and I purposely didn't look it up. I have no clue what lawnmower parenting means. I've heard of the helicopter parenting.
Right. So it's kind of an extension of helicopter parenting, and we all know what helicopter parenting is. The parents that hover, they're always there to
they always have to dabble in their kids' lives.
Yeah,
even
always,
as they're adults.
Right. Even into adulthood. You know, and it's. I don't know. I don't want to say it's more of a. They're always there to make sure their kids are comfortable. For the most part.
Or in their mind,
things for their kids.
In their mind, it's good parenting because I'm helping my kids.
Right.
When 9 times out of 10, it's really hindering.
It's absolutely hindering. This lawnmower parenting is taking it a step further. This is going way above and beyond.
It's where your kid grows up, moves out, gets married, has a kid of their own, and a dog and a cat, a house with a white picket fence, and when they go to work, you go over every day just to see how long their grass is, and you cut it for them. Lawnmower parenting.
A ruler. You take your ruler over, and you're like, oh, this grass is not 2.75 inches. Get out the mower.
No, but for real, so give us the definition or whatever of a lawnmower parenting.
So lawnmower parenting is basically when parents will go out of the way. I mean, way out of the way to get in front of their kids to mow down any obstacle in their way so they have no adversity in their lives.
Oh, so it's kind of like they're breaking trail. It's like if you're hiking through the jungle, they're the ones going in front of their kid, chop down everything in their way, all the vines, all the and clear paths so their kid can just breathe through life.
Right. So there's no adversity. There's no struggle.
Yeah, they'll have great skills when they're adults.
It is making their life absolutely a breeze. So, and I know some people that do this for their kids today, like that are my age. They do this for their kids today. I mean, and they will.
What's the opposite of a lawnmower parent?
What I do with my kids.
Make them mow the lawn.
Like, just, I've done that.
Get out there and mow the lawn.
I've actually done that. With my old lawnmower, I don't. The old lawnmower, I had Lexi go out and mow with my old Toro because she could handle that. This new lawnmower, there's no chance I would let her go.
Let her go. What's the worst that could happen?
She'd flip the lawnmower.
That'd be awesome.
No.
Put a helmet on.
No.
She'll be fine.
No.
Yep, we're doing it. New video for the Facebook page or Facebook Live.
There's a chance she could seriously injure herself on this new one. There's no chance. But it is the opposite of that is letting kids go out and play. Like lawnmower parents will not let their kids out of their sight. They will not let their kids go out and play.
So I imagine, so this would be like the parents that as the kids get older, they pay for their cell phone. They
pay for their cell phone.
Even though they may get a job, they pay for all their bills. They buy them lunch. They
show up to school because the kid texts them, I need my water bottle. I have to have my water bottle.
There's water fountains.
Right.
Figure it out, kid.
But the parent leaves work to show up at the school to drop off a water bottle.
Actually, I kind of want to do that. Hey, I got to go. I got to take my kid a water bottle. See ya.
You're fired.
Leave work.
You're fired.
Yeah,
it is those type of things where like they make sure there is absolutely no adversity in their lives, and their life is. But it also leads to this self-entitlement bullshit that we're dealing with now today with some of the millennial assholes.
Well, yeah, I think
that their life is so easy that they think that I deserve that.
Yeah, because I want it, I deserve it.
My life has been so easy and everything has just come to me.
Well, here's a good example. That. I was talking to my buddies yesterday that we played music with, and we were laughing. I had such a good time. I think I pulled a riblet laughing so hard it still hurts today. And then we got to talking about one of the girls didn't know how to put air in a tire. My buddy was talking about somebody he knows who will run bald tires. Like, oh, it's just fine, but they don't know anything about like basic vehicle maintenance.
Right.
They get a flat, they have to call somebody because they do not know how. So the girl that was with us was like, well, I don't really know how to put air in a tire. I've never, I take my car and they oil changes or whatever. She's like, you take the cap off the little valve thing, right? I said, yeah. And then she's like, okay, then what do you do? I said, you take the hose and you push it on there. And she's like, that's it? I was like, yeah, you could have figured that out. She's like, oh, like she's not an incapable one. She does, she's an older married, but she just goes, oh, well, my husband's always done that for me, the vehicle maintenance. Okay, I could see that.
Okay.
She's very capable of doing many other things, but she went, oh, okay, well, I would have figured it out. But he's talking about a girl that goes, I have a bald flat tire. I'm going to take it somewhere. I need to call somebody. It's like these people that not only they can't, there's no desire to try to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and
I think that's what ticks me off more is the total lack of feeling like I don't even need to make an attempt, because this day and age, you can literally Google or YouTube anything. Right. You could start a job having no experience and probably be okay because you can probably just Google it.
YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. And granted, YouTube is owned by Google.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
But YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google.
I believe it. I use it all the time.
Learning stuff.
Well, when we were working on the truck, somebody's like, can you find something on YouTube where somebody's ran into this issue? You know, so I'm out there in the country trying to get reception. But it's if you get a flat tire, you've got to, I guarantee you this kid's got a smartphone. Pull it out and go, how to inflate a tire. And there's going to be a video of somebody breaking down the basics of how to inflate a tire.
Guess who was outside with me when I was changing oil?
Diesel.
Harley.
You should teach Diesel how to change oil.
Diesel was outside too. He's a garage dog. He's outside laying in the garage.
Right.
Laying there watching. Harley was outside. Granted, she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't helping. She's outside. She's looking at me. She's watching what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But both my girls, they'll know how to change tires. Not just inflate them.
Right.
Change them. Jack them up. Change them. They will know how to change their own oils. They will know how to put wiper fluid into the car.
Well, that's how I'm getting with Huck, because I don't want to raise a kid. I want to raise a kid / young man / man that's totally self-dependent. So I've, like we've talked many times about my truck, Dad and I and my brother rebuilding this 52 Chevy. Well, if Huck's out there and he sees the pole barn open, he says, I have to help Papaw.
Right.
Or Papaw needs me. And he'll just run down to the pole barn, no matter what Dad's doing. And my dad's a perfect example. Okay. He's retired. He's had this 52 Ford. It's been in the family since 1972. He has never done body work, knows nothing of it, but he knows people that do. So what'd he do? He saved up. He went out. He bought a welder, watched a bunch of videos, read a bunch of articles, found some forums. And my dad was 10 years ago, he would not touch a computer just because he didn't understand it. Now he's like, hey, I saw this one guy did this, and this other guy on this forum said that. Next thing I know, now my father-in-law lives a mile down the road from him, and he used to weld for a profession.
Right.
So he came down and said, here's the basics. Next thing I know, Dad's replaced both floor pans. He's doing the kick panels now. It's because he goes, I'm just gonna learn how to do it. This truck means more to him than any other vehicle ever has because of, I kind of gave the background on another episode, and he was so afraid to mess it up, and he finally just went, how else am I going to learn?
Right. And who else is going to do it for you?
Right. Nobody's going to come do it for him.
Right.
And he even told all his friends, he said, I don't want you to do it for me. He said, I want you to teach me, because now we've got, after this one, we've got a 49 waiting to get rebuilt. It's one of those things that going forward, he's got one more skill in his toolbox that he can use.
Well, and if someone else does it for him, you don't have that same satisfaction.
No, exactly. We're rebuilding. We've replaced the rear end on that 52. We've rebuilt the engine together. We rebuilt the transmission. We've done the whole chassis, stripped it down, coated it, everything. Yeah. We redid all the brakes, the front end. We put a different front end under it. When we get done, we'll be able to say, we built this truck.
Right.
I think the only thing we're not going to do is paint it.
That's a
and because we want this one to be like a show quality truck.
Yeah,
I think this one we're gonna have painted, but everything else, it's like we're gonna be able to say we built this truck.
Right.
Everything that it's seen, everything it does is because of us. And yeah, it's a lot about satisfaction, but it's also about Dad's never been the one to not try something.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with the deck outside. I mean, granted, it's just handrails and that other stuff, but it's been a lot of YouTube and Googling how to do these damn handrails, what's needed, everything else,
right.
Getting template and, trying to figure out, how high everything needs to be, regulations, blah, 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 blah. But back to your question about what's the opposite of a lawnmower parent, it's letting your kids go outside and play. It's
leaving your kid's life for 18 years.
No,
I did nothing for my kid.
No. It is not that. It's letting your kids take risks, jump off of things, climb things.
Well, my favorite thing is,
and let them figure out how to take those calculated risks on what they can do and how far they can go before they actually get hurt.
Right.
And let them figure that out on their own. My
favorite thing to do with Huck is to make him think. He's almost 5 now. The other baby, which I think we have a name for finally. It's not Dutch.
Butch.
Butch
is, I was going to text you the other day and be like, Butch is so awesome.
Butch. He's lives up in Cleveland. But my favorite thing with Huck is he would, as he's getting older and talking and interacting more and learning, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I need this. I want this. Can you get that? No, you go do it. And he fell in love with these British cartoons on like Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things he said, he doesn't say as much anymore, but he would always, the only word he would say with an accent is the word can't. So I'd say, Huck, you have to do that. I can't. And I went, what? But I can't. And I'm like, no, you can't. So my favorite thing is he's getting older. Like I say, he's almost 5 now, and he's really getting into the show on YouTube called Okie Dokie Odie. He came in one day and said, I want to watch Odie. And I was like, thinking Odie's a dog from Garfield.
I was going to say, is it Garfield or?
No, it's this hand puppet, and it looks dumb as all get out. I was like, this is going to, whatever, if it entertains him. And he hadn't watched TV all day, and he'd been good, and he picked up his own toys. So I said, fine, watch Odie. Well, it's actually very educational. People on YouTube, kids will say, the one he wanted to watch was How Do Ears Work? And it actually, very scientifically breaks down how your ears work.
All right.
So he's learning. And then the one that I got into, I was on my laptop or something, and I heard somebody ask, why do we fart? So there was a whole 5 or 6 minute episode on why your body produces gas when you burp and you fart. And it's funny watching Huck interact, but my favorite thing is when he comes to me with a problem, whether something is stuck, like toys are intermangled, or nice. I almost bought Pop Rocks today. I thought about it. But my favorite thing to do is just to basically make him figure things out. And that's if he hasn't tried. If I've seen him not try, I will not do it for him, and he'll get mad. And then sometimes he'll even start crying. I'll say, "Why are you crying?" Well, I want this. So fix it. I can't. I said, "No, you didn't try. You don't know that you can't. You haven't tried."
Yeah.
So I will make him whatever it is, whatever the problem or issue he's having. I can't reach. I can't do this. Here's a good one. He wanted a popsicle out of the freezer, and ours is a standard freezer on top.
Yeah.
Well, Beth had told him she's been trying to get him to be more independent too, to get his own snacks, to get his own drinks, because she's about to pop and have this baby in 2 to 3 weeks, and she won't be able to do everything for him.
Right.
Which she doesn't anyway. But, so we were trying to really make him independent, and he's not even 5. But we want him to be able to, get his own food, get his own juice, the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to go to the kitchen one night, but he didn't want to because it was kind of dark. Well, that makes sense. He can't see, He's at that height where he could smack his head on the corner of a table or something. Well, Beth said, take your little chair. He's got a little wooden chair that he sits on by a table in the one family room, whatever. And take it in there, stand on it, and turn the light on.
Yeah.
He said, oh, that's a good idea. Goes, turns the light on. Well, he'd done that, turn the light on and off himself a few times. So the night comes, he wants a popsicle. I said, why don't you go get a popsicle for you and one for Daddy? Okay, so he goes in, and I hear him open the fridge. And he comes in and goes, I don't see him. I said, well, buddy, I said, they're up in the freezer on the top part, remember, where it's colder? He said, oh, yes. And then he said, I can't reach it. And I said, well, figure it out. So he'd already taken his chair in and turned on the light. So I was trying to see if he put 2 and 2 together. Oh, if I stand on my chair, I'm elevated, I can reach higher things.
Yeah.
He didn't quite catch it until he said, hey, you know how you use your chair to turn on the light? Use that to get in the freezer. Which is both good and bad, because that means he'll be able to do more for himself. But then I told Beth, now we got to watch leaving knives on the counter and things like that. But yeah, the lawnmower parenting thing is, honestly, it's so harmful, I think. Long term, short term, it's harmful.
It's awful. It's absolutely.
Huck gets mad when we do things for him.
Well, and that's the way Harley is. So Harley gets the same way. She gets upset whenever, if you don't do something for her, she can't figure it out. She gets mad, and I'll sit down and be like, hey, stop crying, knock it off. We don't need this. Let's figure this out. Let's talk through it. Let's figure this thing out.
Right.
You'll get it. You're smart. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. And within a couple minutes, boom, she's figured it out. Whatever the issue is, she's figured it out. Or else she's just being stubborn, and she just wants me to do it for her, which isn't going to be the case.
Yeah, Huck does that.
So we're not playing those games. But with the so I've got an article here that it's 11 signs that you're a lawnmower parent. And this is one of the pieces I'm going to link to in the show notes. One of two. One is an article on, are you a helicopter parent or a lawnmower parent, that I'll link to, that just kind of gives some information about this to make sure that you are not being one or the other. And this one is just 11 signs that you are a lawnmower parent. And it goes all the way through from before your child was born all the way through, I think, college. So the first example that you're a lawnmower parent is you essentially got rid of your animals in your house.
Okay. So
it's bye-bye Fido and Fluffy. Before your child is even born, you found new homes for your dog or cat, just so there's no chance that you might they might scratch or bite your baby. That's absurd.
Okay.
Absolutely absurd. Unless your cat or your dog is aggressive towards other people.
Well, if your cat or dog's aggressive towards other people, you probably should be fixing that, kid or no kid, period.
Well, right. But there are, I had a cat who was aggressive towards other people who came in the house. He was aggressive towards
we talked about that. Cats suck.
Well, cats are assholes, and that fits my attitude. They shouldn't be
pets.
That fits my attitude. And
get a gecko. If you want a cat, awesome. Go get a gecko.
So, but I can understand getting rid of...
Or a newt.
No, I have newt. I can understand getting rid of an aggressive animal that may be aggressive towards...
Rooster.
Roosters are super aggressive.
Canadian goose.
Fuck Canadians.
Yeah, so anyway, go ahead.
So...
Yeah, I don't think you need to get rid of an animal.
I don't think you need to get rid of an animal just because you're afraid that they're going to get scratched or bit. So...
I'm trying to remember, we had... my wife's dog was a toy poodle or some real tiny little full-blood frou-frou dog. Very well behaved.
Weighed 2 ounces. Weighed less than that can of tea in your hand.
Yeah, of my Arizona green tea with ginseng and honey. 100% natural, it says. I doubt that. But anyway, ascorbic acid.
All right.
So we got rid of him. I can't remember if it was right before Huck was born or right after. But for us, we lived alone in Logan. We had nobody we knew down there.
Right.
We didn't work down there. We didn't, we lived down outside of Logan, the Hockin Hills. Loved the area. But we worked in Carroll at the time. He was born, both of us. Our family's in Circleville and Columbus, so it's not like anybody could run by and let our dog out if we needed to. So for us, it wasn't get rid of the dog for the baby's sake. It was get rid of the dog so we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
So my parents took the dog, and then Huck actually went over and played on the floor with him while he was growing up.
Well, that's a different story. You're not getting rid of
Right, that's what I'm saying.
You're not even getting rid of the dog. Your parents took the dog.
Right.
It's not like you took the dog to the shelter.
And then some predatory bird took the dog from them.
That's sad.
True story. That let him out one day and he disappeared.
It was a Thunderbird.
Thunderbird.
So number 2 is you're a picky play dater. In an effort to squash playdate fights before they happen, you hand select meeker, younger kids as companions for your child. Anyone taller or older than your kid is potentially a bully.
Yeah, that's like in college football. You schedule the weak teams first to get your kids' confidence up. And
right.
You want them to be the dominant one, the leader, the one in charge.
This is going to sound really bad, but I think there is some small, tiny, minute level of bullying that needs to happen.
I think it toughens them up.
To toughen up kids. Not to the point of, like I said,
I think what you're trying to...
It's picking on.
Right. You're trying to say...
that people consider bullying today.
Well, it's like what I would do to Huck.
Yes.
You know, there are times he wants to wrestle and fight. Well, he'll come at me, and his way, when he says we have to wrestle, he literally just jumps towards you, or if you're laying on the ground, jump on, like in the air.
And you catch him, swing him around, and toss him into a wall.
When he goes in the air, though, he just starts flailing. He turns his head back and forth as fast as he can, whips his arms around as fast as he can, and his legs. So he just comes at you like a fireball. So he was running towards me one time, and he got close to me, and I just smacked him upside the head. Yeah, not hard. I didn't knock him over, but it was a pretty good little smack. And he went, he started laughing. He went, ow. He said, you have to stop doing that. I said, hey, you said you wanted to fight. Life's not fair. So he kept running towards me, and I just kept bopping him in the side of the head, you know. Yeah. Real light. I'm not giving my kid a concussion, but I wasn't letting him get towards me.
Right. He holds your hand on his head, and he just continues to swing.
He's saying that's not fair, and every time he tried and come in close, I'd keep him at distance.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I want him to where I can strike him and he can't strike me. That's a fight thing. And he kept saying, it's not fair, it's not fair. And I said, buddy, life ain't fair. Fighting ain't fair.
No, you're right. It's not. And I'm talking like picking on like slight name calling. Hey, booger breath.
Yeah, we do that.
You know, those types of things.
My brother calls him stinky butt all the time.
I'm talking about picking on, which today, that is way out there, too far. That is a bridge too far in form of bullying. I'm not talking about going to the point where, you know, some of these things have gone too far with the Facebook thing and everything else, but just the picking, the poking, and the prodding.
Well, I was watching a clip
just to toughen people up.
I was watching a clip. I forget the guy's name because I watched several of them. One of my Facebook friends posted, and this comedian was talking about, you know, he's like, I just don't get cyberbullying. He said, you know, you walk in a room, and he kind of sat down on the little stool on the stage, and he said, mimic crying. It's like, what's going on? I'm being cyberbullied. He walked over and he just went, click. There, it stopped.
You're done.
You know, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, some people take it too far, but for cyberbullying, turn it off. Delete social media. It's not that big a deal, especially for kids. Kids don't have to have
kids' lives today.
Don't have to have it. Well, right, but as a parent, you should say, fine. You're my kid. I see that you're hurting because of this, and we can very easily remedy this problem.
Right.
Close down Facebook, close down Twitter, the tweeting bird, whatever, and be done with it. Take a break.
Right. I took a break.
Take a little hiatus, a sabbatical, and you might discover a few things about yourself, kid. Go outside, like you said, go outside and play.
Because I'm constantly shoving my kids outside.
Huck wants to go. Was it last night or the night before?
All Huck wants to do 8:53. All Huck wants to do is go outside and play.
Yeah.
All my kids want to do is stay inside. Yeah. They're like, go outside.
Oh, Huck will go nuts out here. He loves finding bugs. He'll just sit and like find bugs and like, what's that? What's it do?
Bring him out. He can go play in the pond. There's tadpoles and all kinds of frogs.
My parents have 8 acres, kind of like, you know, your land here. It's 100 yards wide and then kind of long.
Yeah.
And we'll be sitting at home, middle of the day, could be first thing in the morning. I want to go to Nanny's house. And we go there, and he's, you know,
call an Uber.
Yeah, Circleville Uber. You get old Jethro coming in his jalopy to pick you up.
That's all right. Sit on the rocking chair in the back of the truck.
But he loves being outside. He actually, we were having a great day one time. He'd been he was in a great mood. He does this thing now where he runs ahead of people to open the door for him, even though he can't push most doors. And he says, "Wait, I have to be a gentleman."
I have to be a gentleman.
But we had a great day. We were out stores or something. Well, we went to leave to go somewhere. We were kind of in a hurry. So Beth opened the back door for him to get in, and he just started bawling. And we're like, what's wrong? And he said, I wanted to open the door. And so, like, he's to the point where, and now granted, he's a kid, but I was like, first off, shut it down. That's why I tell him he's crying unnecessarily. I say, shut it down, and he'll stop crying. You know, he kind of.
You want me to give you a reason to cry?
All this. Right. And, but yeah, he loves doing things himself. There are times when he's, hey, Huck, pick up your toy. I can't, it's too heavy. Yeah,
it's
buddy,
a Hot Wheel.
You were playing with it for 35 minutes. Pick it up, put it away. You're done with it, put it away.
That's right.
But he tried that for a while until you realize we're not having that crap. He ain't pulling that one on us. We make him do his own stuff. And here's my thing. I may not be there tomorrow.
Right.
I may, this may be my time. When my time's up, it's up. I want to know that I've done
your rear end may fall out from the backside of your truck because all the bolts are loose.
Absolutely could. And I just want to know that whenever time comes for me to leave this world, that I've given any of my children the best of me that I can, the best life lessons, the best teaching. Screw being a lawnmower parent. I want to be like my dad. As soon as they're old enough, I'm going to make them do the lawn mowing. You pave the way and make my job easy. You get up, if I'm under a car working, he can be the one running, getting wrenches, so I'm not getting up and down, It's like.
Starting tomorrow, we're holding auditions for a new co-host.
Cool.
You just said you're dying.
I might be.
All right. So, number 3, you referee fights. If you spot an argument between your child and another, you step in to break it up rather than let the kids hash it out themselves.
Oh, yeah.
If it's really bad, say they both want to play with your child's T-Rex Transformer, you ask the other kid's parent to buy their own. That way your kids can play together but don't have to share. Problem solved.
Huck loves a T-Rex Transformer.
I like the T-Rex Transformer.
T-Rex is his second favorite dinosaur, he told me.
Oh, yeah?
He got down, he was crawling around growling yesterday, and Beth said, or we had our friends over.
Yeah.
And in between sessions where we were playing, they just came to our apartment, and he's growling. My buddy Derek said, are you being a T-Rex? He said, no, a Stegosaurus. I didn't even know those things growl, but apparently they do. Or roared, as he called it.
Okay.
He was roaring. But
I don't know that dinosaurs actually made any noise. That's all speculation.
If a dinosaur farted, did it sound? So Huck with Sharon's funny because we had some friends over yesterday. He likes showing off his toys and what they do. And he showed, he has this Sub Patroller, the Paw Patrol thing.
Yeah.
And it shoots a little projectile and all this. Well, he showed my buddy Derek, and then he went and got another toy, and he came back, and Derek had taken it to kind of play with it and see how it worked. And Huck goes, I need this, please. And he took it from him. And then Derek, he'd show him another toy, and Derek would pick it up and look at it. He's like, I have to play with that now, please. Or, sorry, I need that now. And he would take it from him.
He's polite.
But he was very polite about it. So we were like, I was like, just let it go. And finally, I let it go so far, and I'm like, Huck, it's okay that you're not even touching it. You weren't touching it. It's fine that somebody else has it. But it's funny to see that we've taught him enough manners wise where he's like, sorry, I need you to not play with this right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know the sharing thing with this new kid. I asked him, I said, you going to share your toys with Down, as he named this baby?
Nope.
And he's like, well, he'll be too little. I was like, yeah, we'll see.
Yep. So we go through the same thing with Lexi and Harley.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
She's touching my stuff. Lex, you're 10. Get over it.
Yeah.
But.
Deal.
I'm like, well, wait till you guys are sharing clothes. That's not going to happen.
The same clothes. One shirt, one set of pants, one of you in each leg, and you got to hop side by side.
We're going to do the twinning thing here shortly where... Siamese twin you guys into some clothes here. I said, but just wait till you guys are sharing clothes. Like she walks into your room and she's going to be like, I'm taking this shirt. No, you can't. I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better, Lexi.
Oh, yeah.
I said, you guys are talking about crayons right now. She's like,
I saw a meme of crayon collars where somebody edited the names of them.
Oh, Lord.
And my favorite one was Grandpa Pube Gray.
That's gross. It's like your beard.
Oh, my incision hurts from laughing. All right. What number are we on? 4?
We're on number 4. There's 11 of these, so we're on number 4.
Let's go. Let's get moving.
You got your kid golf lessons starting at age 2. Hey, it's never too early for your kid to learn this power game. You probably got him signed up for tennis by then too.
I know a buddy. I don't know about golf lessons.
This is a Tiger Woods thing,
but I know a guy that's a huge golfer. And his kid was chipping into a net in the backyard at like 2 or 3.
That's ridiculous.
But I don't know if he got him lessons, but he was just like, Daddy golfs. The kids saw him want to do it. Kind of like if you're changing the oil, the kid's watching you.
Yeah.
It's kind of what he did. I don't know they got lessons. Honestly, I don't care. I don't
Getting lessons
know anything about it. But
buying a set of clubs just so the kid can hit golf balls are 2 completely different things.
We wanted to sign Huck up to play a sport, and unfortunately, the only one that was available a couple months ago when we looked was soccer. And I thought, well, he's in the house all the time. Aside from church or going out to see his cousins, he's not interacting with a lot of kids. Or we take him to the park as often as we can. Right. But we wanted to sign him up for soccer. Well, it was literally a 2-month season. It was the month before and the month after the baby was due. So, and when I was having the surgery, so we didn't sign him up. But I think I'd like him to play baseball. That was a sport I played growing up. I like the sport.
You should be able to get him signed up for T-ball.
But that's the thing. Everybody, T-ball doesn't teach a daggone thing.
No, but
you can hit a ball and you run to first and you stop regardless of what's going on.
But it gets you started up in the basics.
Right. So I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm not going to pay for baseball lessons.
No.
I guarantee you that.
No, I wouldn't pay for baseball lessons. Lexi, once she's into archery, she wants to try archery, although since I've got this bow and arrow for her, now that I actually got it, she's only shot it 3 times. I've had to force her to go out twice.
What if you let her shoot it from the lawnmower?
Hell no.
Yes.
It's not riding a horse. It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not horseback
We are going
archery.
medieval.
We are not doing medieval.
She's going to be Katniss Evergreen or whatever.
That was a dinosaur fart. So number 5 is you redshirt up the wazoo. So redshirting is where your kid is like right at the cutoff of being able to start school, so you hold them back.
Yeah.
So they become the older kid.
Yeah, the older, bigger, faster, whatever.
Yeah. I didn't have this problem because both kids, like Lexi met that age limit, so she's with her age group, but Harley did not. So by default, she had to be held. She didn't have to be held back a year. We didn't have a choice. So she is going to be, I think, one of the older kids in her grade because she was born in October.
Well, if it's by default, what can you do about it?
We probably could have pressed the issue and had her.
I was always one of the bigger kids in school.
Well, that's by default.
That's also by default.
That's by hoagies.
Hoagies and grinders.
That's right. So this is just you
more
hold
like
them back. So
and nutty bars.
They end up being the older kid. They end up being bigger. And by default, they end up being smarter just because of brain development. So, I'm slightly guilty of that, but that's nature. Not.
So you're one. You got one so far. We're gonna keep a score, just like you keep score on me.
So you're gonna
how much of a lawnmower parent you are.
You're gonna force that one nature
1 out of 11, and I will edit the post to make sure it says you are 1/11th of a lawnmower parent.
Bastard.
All right, what's number 5?
You help your kids with homework. Now, if you're not helping your kids with homework, you're a bad parent.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, what extreme are they taking?
Let me read this for you.
Okay.
By help, in quotes, that could mean checking every answer to make sure it's right, or heck, just completing the assignment yourself. You've even learned how to fake your kid's handwriting so teachers can't tell the difference.
Here's what I'm picturing is hey, I have to do a volcano out of clay for a science
fair.
fair.
And the parent just does
it. And then the parent builds them like an erector set rocket that actually launches or something, you know?
Right. This
like
is
dad's
basically
an engineer and
this is the parents doing the kids' homework.
Yeah.
Now I go through and I do.
They should retitle that then, because helping your kids with homework is fine.
They have help in.
Oh, okay. It's in air quotes.
It's in quotes. So I do go through and check Lexi's homework, her math homework, which I should not be the one checking her math homework because I can't even add 1 + 1 and get 3.
Any homework probably.
Right, I shouldn't, because I get 3 when I add 1 + 1. So, I just break out a calculator. I check her math homework. Any that she misses, I mark them as wrong and I hand it back to her.
You got your phone in your pocket and you look at a math problem. You're like, hold on, I got to get somebody out of the other room. And you go do it on your phone.
Oh, no, I do.
Like,
right.
Oh, that's 7.
No, I break out a phone right in front of her. I'm like, Daddy's bad at math. Hold on. And I'll go through and I'll erase the ones that are wrong and put an X beside them and I hand them back to her. I'm like, do them again. She's like, well, what do I need to do? I'm like, whatever the equation is, do it again. You got all these other ones right.
Right.
Look through your questions and figure it out.
Yep. Figure it out. It's wrong, and you need to figure out why.
And you need to figure out what the problem is.
Well, yeah, because if you do it, they're never going to realize how to fix their mistake. It's kind of
Right.
like, what did we do wrong? Oh, we took the bolts off both sides of the rear end.
And it fell off.
And it just completely, oh, man.
So you go to bat for every B. B is in quotes for a grade.
Okay.
The
letter B.
The letter B, yes.
Okay.
You argue with your teachers over every grade your child gets that's not an A. After all, every grade counts in terms of getting into a good college. So basically, every time, when you're
And as we all know in America, college is necessary for you to get a good job, and it's totally worth the tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you will always get a job in your field of study.
Bullshit.
That was a dinosaur fart.
Excuse me. I sneezed.
Yeah, the whole my parents used to go for a bat for a B because I always had D's and C's. If I had a B, they were like, "Hey, let's go, slugger, ice cream."
Great. Hey, we're gonna give you $5. I was a horrible student in high school. I barely got out of high school.
They probably just kicked you. I mean, once you hit 23, they're pretty much done
They're
with you.
like, yeah, you need to
Time
go.
to go.
You can't date. You can't date the seniors anymore.
When you're buying beer for all the parties yourself,
Yeah,
it's time to go.
It's time to go. I know. I graduated. I graduated on time, but I probably had a 1 point something. I mean,
Yeah.
I barely made it out. I was a horrible student.
See, I was telling somebody the other day, we were talking about college and high school and this and that, and my favorite I elected to take them both in high school and college was psychology and psychiatry. And I think that's what we got to talking about. And I applied to 3 schools. I applied to Toledo, DeVry Institute of Technology,
I went to DeVry.
as it was called at the time,
Yep.
and Cal. Don't know why. I was going to be that kid that's like, yeah, I'm from Ohio. I moved to the West Coast. I'm not a surfer. I'm not a California guy. Now that I'm older, I'm glad I never went to California for school.
Well, California was different back then.
Oh, that's true. But still.
It wasn't so
But I got accepted on 3.
anti-straw.
And at DeVry, at least back then, they sent somebody to your house to kind of interview you and talk to the family.
Yeah.
You had to do that?
They came to mine, yeah.
Yeah. So the lady comes and she's got my transcript from high school, and she's asking all the questions, and she's looking at my GPA, and they had it, freshman, they had every year broke down, and then they had a cumulative. So freshman, and then it'd be freshman, sophomore combined average, freshman, sophomore, junior averaged.
Yep.
So my average for my first 3 years came out to like it's like a 3.2, 3.4. I was actually not bad.
Yeah.
My senior year was a 1.4. And she was like,
What happened?
okay, what happened? And I went, easy. In Ohio, seniors graduating have to have 4 years of English. I passed English. I was there all day. I had 6 or 7, 5, I don't know how many classes.
I was in study hall.
I said, I didn't care if I failed them. I was taking a 4th math that I didn't need. I think I took pre-calc just for fun, or I don't know. I took psychology and psychiatry.
Yep.
It was 6 months of one, half a year of one, half a year of the other. I took some computer class, just did the projects when I wanted to. I did not do homework the entire year.
I didn't do shit my
I
senior
only
year.
did tests, and I think even in English, I got a D. I just needed to pass. Everything else, I'd worked. When we went in as freshmen, they told us what Ohio at the time. So for my freshman year, it's like I knew what I needed to graduate. So I worked enough and loaded my schedule the first 3 years. So my senior year was just all electives.
Yeah.
I didn't need anything else. So yeah, it was just.
I didn't do anything. My senior year I did DECA. I was a DECA dummy. All right, let's plow through these last ones. You volunteer for the PTA.
Pass.
But it's not so much out of the goodness of your heart, but because you know that you'll get in good with your teachers and the school principal, that it could come in handy sometime down the road.
Leverage.
Bleh. You network up a storm. You call every mover and shaker you know to request summer internships for your child. Later on, you hit them up again for glowing letters of recommendations for college.
My dad did something like that.
I didn't do anything like that.
When I was able to drive, he said, get a job and pay for your own gas.
Yeah.
That was how he networked. Go find a job.
Go find a job.
And I worked at Ponta Grossa.
My dad did that for me once. And I worked at he called up his buddy Lou. He's like, hey, Lou, Brandon needs a job. Lou goes, send him down tomorrow. I'll have him start cleaning up the basement in the furniture store. He goes, and then he can get with Brett, and they can start hot mopping the roofs where they can start tarring. And then
I did roofing for a summer.
Ugh.
Yep.
And then I started moving furniture from there, and I did that for maybe 9 months before Lou was like, all right, we don't need you anymore. Great.
Right.
And then I started working at Burger King. Ugh. Coming home smelling like greasy ass burgers.
I was going to say it takes 3 years after you leave any job like that to get rid of the grease on your skin.
I threw away everything that I owned that I ever wore into that place.
What's next? What number are we on?
Now we're on number 11.
Oh, okay. Last one.
You help. Nope. Or I'm sorry, 10. You help with college applications. You not only fill out your child's college application, you even wrote the personal essay yourself to help your child. Yeah.
That's way too far. There's no way I would do that.
I have seen accounts where parents have sent in applications for their kids for jobs, or did the resume and sent the resume in for their kid because their kid couldn't send their resume and had no idea how to send a resume in for a job.
That's awful.
This is taking that.
They should have got on YouTube. They should have Googled it.
This is because their kid's too fucking lazy.
Just put it on Indeed.com.
I think I've said the F-bomb 3 times in this show, by the way.
Our ratings will go up.
Yeah, well,
apparently people like it when you cuss.
I guess so. And we're going to start another game. Every time I say fuck, you guys drink.
Ha! The Buckhorn Podcast drinking game.
That's right.
Oh, speaking of you in your language, I found out that I walked into Mom's house one day and she went, hey, by the way, you mixed up one of the details on your funeral story. And I went, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I was like, so you've been listening? She said, yeah, I was up talking to your grandma about it. And I went,
uh-oh.
Oh, okay. And, she's kind of laughing, and she said, yeah, we were talking about the funeral and what happened, and you kind of mixed one detail up with one from another funeral or something. I forget, it was some minor detail. And I said, have you been telling Grandma to listen? She said, nope, I told her not to. She said that Randy is funny and his friend is fine, but his language is sometimes now my grandma was the wife of a pastor her whole life.
Okay.
Well, not her whole life.
Right.
She wasn't a wife until they got married when they were in their early 20s. Huh? But
arranged marriages.
For 40-some years, my grandpa preached after he grew up in the sticks of Kentucky and Southern Ohio, smoking what he called life everlasting. He got saved and became a pastor. So, it's one of those things. We used to not be allowed to say fart or butt around him.
Hi, Randy's mom.
And then, hi, Mom, love you. Yeah, she thinks I'm funny and she hates you. So
it's all right. I'm like a fungus. I'll grow on you.
No, Mom doesn't hate anybody. She was just like, he just uses colorful language that Grandma ain't gonna like. That's all. So yeah, it was just funny.
Sorry, my grandmother wouldn't like it either.
It's like sitting there like, yeah, I was talking to Grandma about the funeral story. I was just like, okay, where's this going? Yeah, but anyway, where were we?
We're on 11 now. We're on 11 now.
All right.
You bribe admissions officers. When you mail in your child's college application, you include something extra for the admissions officer, homemade cookies, or spa gift certificate, or huge donation to the school.
I don't see bribing anybody for anything, especially for somebody else, is dumb.
Unless you're trying to get out of a speeding ticket.
Bribing's still pretty dumb. Yeah. We don't need any visual. Next, I'm going to show you all what Martelle's just doing. No, bribing. Well, yeah, doing things for your kids just so they don't have to learn or do or try. Because I feel like some of these people, I grew up with when I say a tough childhood, it's not like we were homeless. We weren't, my parents were great. I didn't have bad parents. My parents never fought. I didn't come from a broken home. We just grew up poor. So my parents couldn't give us everything. We didn't get the newest game system. We didn't have the nicest TV. We had furniture, we had bed, we had clothes. All the clothes were hand-me-downs, but we were blessed poor people, I guess.
Yeah.
We had a house, and we moved from a one-bedroom house with all four of us to a split level that had 3 bedrooms, and it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
It was nothing amazing looking back now, but then it was huge to us, and they did all they could for us, but they couldn't give us everything. And Dad even told me the reason the whole truck debacle happened is because when we got them flipped back over and we got the truck sitting on the new front springs and everything, Dad went, we did the front springs first and the rear end kind of squatted. I said, I want to lift that up. I don't like the way the back end squats a little. He said, all right, but if we flip it, I'm not helping you flip it back. So instead of even asking Dad, who would have told me, hey, we do it one at a time, I jerked to a buddy, said, yeah, we can do it. I helped him flip it before, we'll be good.
Yep.
And because I didn't want my, Dad just won't do stuff for me necessarily.
Dad, so you're just doing it one at a time anyway.
And Dad helps me a ton. He's been helping me build the shop for the new forge and all that. But I think when you do every single thing for your kid, they end up not knowing how to inflate a tire.
They take it for granted.
They end up not, they take everything for granted. They assume that everything's going to be handed to them, and it's absolute garbage, and it's hurtful to your children.
Right.
It really is.
Well,
because what happens to that kid when that parent does unexpectedly pass away?
I can tell you.
Uh-oh. Do you have real life experience with this?
You took everything for granted, and when they're not there anymore, there's no one to call to find out, oh, hey, how do I do this? Or you can't call for that advice anymore.
Right.
Because both my parents have passed away. So you can't call for that advice anymore. There's no one to call. There's no one to talk to.
Yeah, and you have to figure things out on your own.
You have to figure that shit out on your own. You grow up real fucking fast.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy, a really good friend of mine, his name's Justin. Him and his sister and mom and dad were in a car wreck when he was just a kid, and he was the only one that survived. So he was raised by, we always called her Aunt Pearl. It was his Aunt Pearl, and she was the sweetest old lady. But yeah, Justin had to lean a lot on himself, basically. I don't know how to say it, so I'm not going to, again, I'm just like we said before, I'm not going to say I understand what that's like, or I can even fathom what it's like, because my dad and my mom, but I don't cry a lot when people die. It's part of life. Some funerals are hilarious, and I laugh at them. God forbid it's anytime soon, but when Dad goes, it's gonna crush me.
It's gonna, and it's, I mean, I was an adult.
Dad and his dad, my grandpa, that's the one that even thinking about it, I'll get choked up on. Yeah. They are my support system. They're my foundation.
Right.
So when, I can't imagine.
Well,
but I will say, when Dad goes, I'll be able to change a tire, and I'll be able to
forge a knife, and you'll be able to put air in a tire and change oil,
earn a living,
a rear end,
raise a family, so
everything.
I know how to mow. I know how to take blades off and sharpen them. I know how, so it's, we built swing sets together. We built a cabin together. So
so all the thing, I mean, I'll do all these things.
I can take care of a house.
But I mean, I was an adult when both my parents passed away. I was in my 20s. So it's not like I was a teenager or whatever. Yeah. But still, you're still in your 20s. There's still so much life to learn. And that's something you don't see in your 20s unless you go through some. Because like in my 20s, I had everything figured out. Right. And here I am 35, and I call Dad and go, hey, can you help with this? How do I paint a wall?
I don't. I won't paint walls anymore. I'm done.
Oh, I don't paint walls.
I hate painting. I'm awful at it, and I hate it.
Liz and I painted every room in this house twice because we had to prime everything. We're hiring out for that from here on out.
Right. I'll pay somebody.
I will pay somebody to paint. It is trim work as a pain in the ass. I'm more than capable of doing it. I have tons of patience. I don't have patience for painting and trim work. So, all right. Anything else?
Yeah, I got something else. Right down the road here. I just want to advertise coming up the 21st and 22nd at 1333 Rock Mill.
At the brewery or the mill?
Road. No, Rock Mill Road Northwest. It's called Curry's Antiques. You probably don't even know it's there. This lady has 19 acres, 7 cabins on it, all these antiques from between 1770 and 1830 New England. Amazing place. She does 5 times a year these events where they bring in people that make all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But she has antiques. She has a team, 5 people that pick for her. They go to New England, find real antiques, bring it back, and then 5 times a year she does this festival. This one's called the Harvest Festival.
Okay.
I get to go with my buddy Scott that I've been learning from and do blacksmithing during this event.
Nice.
And sell some wares, but it's free as far as I know. If you go to currysantiques.com, we'll post a link on that.
Yeah, post a link. What's the date again?
September 21st and 22nd from 10 to 3.
Okay.
But it's seriously, she gave me the address and I was like, holy crap. I went out there Friday. It's like 5 minutes from your house.
Nice.
So yeah, she said people come from all over the country for it.
I'll put on my party pants and ride my road bike down.
Do it. I would love to see you show up on a bike and party pants. I will put my hammer down and the tongs down and pull my 1830 cell phone out and videotape it. That would be incredible.
Not
Especially
gonna
see you
happen.
trying to pedal up the gravel drive that's got a steep incline right at the start.
No. No. All right. I think that's it for the show today. So thanks for listening.
Parents, don't suck.
Yeah, don't be a lawnmower parent. Don't be a helicopter parent.
Just be a good parent. Just be there for them.
Let your kids be
Teach
kids.
your kids. Don't do for your kids.
Yeah, let them go outside and play. Don't worry about them being kidnapped, because that's highly unlikely that shit's going to happen. That's one of the other issues with being a lawn parent.
This was all just a ploy for you to be able to kidnap kids easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Because I run a ring.
That's a nice lampshade you got over there. It's new, isn't it? Is that made of somebody's skin?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Just call me Buffalo Bill. He puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, just don't suck as a parent. Teach your kids.
Teach your kids.
Get out and play with your kids on the floor when they're young. Go outside and throw a baseball with your
Throw a baseball at your kids.
As hard as you can. Work for me.
Use a pitcher. Use the baseball pitching machine.
I did that to Huck when he was only 8 months old.
Look at him.
Dead.
He's fine. He just has a twitch.
He walks sideways now, but he's okay.
Like a crab. Anyway, thanks for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a review. No one's leaving reviews, but people are telling me in person.
Yeah.
I need you to...
We're getting real life reviews.
Getting them in IRL.
We need the reviews for people in Ireland and the UK and wherever else they listen to us so they can find us easier.
Yes. Thank you guys overseas for listening, and just leave a review, and thanks for listening. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace.